Welcome to The Explainer. We spend our whole lives chasing this one thing, happiness. But what if we're doing it all wrong? Today, we're going to dig into the latest science to see who's really happy, how they got that way, and why a lot of what we've been told is, well, just plain wrong.
I mean, think about it. Our whole culture is obsessed with this question, right? Are you happy? It's the engine behind our careers, our relationships, even the stuff we buy. And honestly, it's exhausting, this endless chase for joy.
So what if those rules are wrong? Let's really get into it. We're about to look at some data that's kind of shocking. It's going to challenge some of the biggest ideas we have about happiness and pretty much turn them upside down.
All right, first up, youth, the so-called golden years. For decades, you've probably heard about this U-curve of happiness. The story goes like this. You start out super happy when you're young, then things dip in those stressful middle-aged years, and then, boom, you get happy again in old age. It's a nice, neat little story. But is it actually true anymore?
Yeah, spoiler alert, it's not. In fact, for a lot of us, especially in places like the US and the UK, that whole curve has flipped on its head. It's completely inverted. Young people are now reporting the lowest levels of happiness, and well-being actually seems to go up as you get older. Wild, right? And this chart, wow, it just lays it all out there. Take the US, for example. If you're over 60, you're in the 10th happiest group on the planet. Pretty good. But then you look at Americans under 30, and they've cratered. We're talking 62nd place. It's a massive gap. The golden years clearly aren't what they used to be.
So what's going on here? Well, this is way more than just typical youthful angst. Young people today are getting hit with this perfect storm of pressures. You've got almost half feeling financially shaky, more than half saying they don't have a sense of purpose, and this one's tough. A huge number, 44%, feel like they just don't matter to others. It's this crushing mix of money worries, loneliness, and just existential dread. Okay, so if being young isn't the magic ticket, what about money? That's the other big one, right? We've all heard the saying, money can't buy happiness. But, the latest research tells a much more interesting story.
Yeah, you've definitely heard about that old study, the one that said your happiness pretty much flatlines after you make about 75 grand a year. Well, get this, a brand new study, and this is cool. They got the scientists who disagreed with each other to work together, found something totally different. And it all revolves around a new number, $100,000.
What they discovered is this fascinating idea they call the misery plateau. So it turns out that whole plateau thing, it is real, but only for a small group, the unhappiest 15 to 20% of us. For this group, yeah, more money helps, but only up to about that $100,000 mark. After that, it just doesn't fix those really deep, painful things in life, like grief or serious depression.
But here's the kicker. What about the rest of us? For the vast majority of people, happiness keeps going up with more income, way past 100,000. And for the happiest 30%, it gets even crazier. Their happiness actually accelerates the more they make. So it looks like money can buy happiness for most people, and for some, it can buy a whole lot of it.
Okay, but money clearly isn't the whole story, especially for that unhappy group we just talked about. So let's shift gears and look at the place we spend, let's be honest, most of our lives, our jobs. Is a fat paycheck really the only thing that makes us happy at work?
Not even close. The research is pretty clear that long-term happiness at work is about way more than salary. It comes down to what some people call the 4 Ps. First, there's progress, that feeling you're actually getting better at something. Then, purpose, knowing that what you do every day actually means something. People, having good connections with your coworkers. And finally, pleasure, just genuinely enjoying the work itself.
And that one, purpose, is becoming a really big deal, especially for younger generations. Remember how we saw they're dealing with a crisis of meaning? Well, for them, purpose isn't just some nice little bonus at work. For something like 9 out of 10 of them, it's an absolute must-have. It's non-negotiable. So, we've poked holes in our ideas about youth, money, and jobs. But let's ask an even bigger question. What about the goal itself? With all this pressure to be positive all the time, should being happy even be the thing we're chasing 24/7?
Psychologists have this great term for why that's a losing battle. They call it the hedonic treadmill. Think of it like this. You get that big promotion or buy that awesome new thing, and you feel great for a little while, but then super quickly, you just get used to it. It becomes your new normal, and you're right back where you started, looking for the next thing to make you happy. You're always running, but you're not getting anywhere.
And this points to a really important difference. On one hand, you have hedonic happiness. That's the chase for pleasure, the fun stuff. It feels good, but it's temporary. It's the treadmill. But on the other hand, there's something called eudaimonic well-being. This is deeper. It's about purpose, meaning, connection, a sense of fulfillment. And that's not a fleeting high. It's something you can build on, something that actually lasts.
And you know what? Trying to just shove down all the bad feelings, sadness, anxiety, you name it, is actually terrible for you. Those emotions are not your enemy. They're more like signals. Sadness can make you stop and think. Anxiety is your brain's alarm system telling you to pay attention. They aren't signs of failure. They're tools we need to live a real, full life.
Okay, so if chasing happiness 24/7 is basically a trap, then what's the alternative? Where should we be putting our energy? Well, the science is pointing towards a much bigger, richer idea.
And that idea is called flourishing. Psychologists have broken it down into this really helpful model called PERMA. It's got 5 key parts. P is for positive emotion. Sure, feeling good is part of it. E is for engagement. Being totally lost in an activity, that flow state. R is for relationships, real connections. M is for meaning, that sense of purpose we keep talking about. And A is for accomplishment, feeling like you're good at something. It's a blueprint for a good life, not just a good move.
So this changes everything, doesn't it? It completely reframes that first question we asked. Maybe the goal isn't to ask, am I happy, but to ask, am I building a life where I can flourish? It shifts our focus from hunting down a feeling that comes and goes to actively building a life with meaning. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real secret. The secret to finding the happiness we were chasing all along.